Guys, second video about the cold steel black Talon 2 today, but this one's a little different. We're going to do a versus battle between the Matriarch 2 by Spyderco and the cold steel black Talon 2. This is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to see who wins. Let's turn this around and take a look at it from above.
Guys, this is going to be fun, and I like this. It is rare that I have two knives that are so similar that I can compare them side by side. This is the Black Talon 2 and the Matriarch 2. This is a cold steel design. This is a Spyderco design. Now, these are both dedicated self-defense. Oops, I missed it. Let's try it again. These are both dedicated self-defense tools from these companies. Very, very similar in blade, very similar in deployment and what they're used for. I mean, like the way that they're used. So what we're going to do is we're going to look at each of these knives over a couple of points. We're going to look at ease of use, ease of deployment. We're going to look at how they feel in hand, and a couple other factors such as mechanism and materials and things like that. So we're going to judge each round with a yup or a nah, so we'll pick which side wins, and then at the end, I'm going to kind of tell you which one I think wins. So remember, these are all based on my opinions. This is going to be fun. So first things first, let's go ahead and look at deployment.
Big shout out to Dollstrongs for sponsoring this video. I've been using this 8-inch Gladiator Series chef's knife for well over a year now, and I got to say, I love it. You're getting a lot for your money when you go with Dollstrong. There's a link down below. You can check them out. They have a huge variety. You can see some of it scrolling up here on the screen. They have a huge variety of knives, different price points, different materials, things that are going to meet your decor if that's what you're into. So don't forget to check them out. They've been really cool to sponsor this video. They've been a good partner for the channel for a while. Check them out. Now, let's turn this around and get back to the video.
So like we said, we're going to look at deployment first. Spyderco has used the Spidey hole for a long time. It's a very reliable, very well-known method. You can reverse flick off of the Spidey hole. Spydercos are very, very smooth in deployment, and it's not a difficult way to deploy a knife. You can modify these in ways to make them wave feature, but that's not what we're looking at. This does not have that. So basically you've got slow roll, which is really easy to control, very good deployment method, and reverse flick. So for deployment, they're both pretty rapid deployment methods. There's your Spyderco deployment. Now, the cold steel uses a thumb plate or thumb disc style opener. The nice thing about this is it gives you a big area to purchase. It really does. Big area purchase. You can slide out on that. You don't have to put your thumb in the hole. It's easy to find. You don't have to dig around for the hole. The other thing too is this basically acts as a wave feature. So you've got this dipped area, your pocket material catches on that, and it pulls the knife open. We all know how a wave feature works. And it is ambidextrous in both knives. It's ambidextrous. You can, if you try hard enough, reverse flick off of this. So I'm going to have to say for this first round that Spyderco loses on deployment. There's just more ways to deploy this knife. And having this come out of your pocket with the wave feature definitely is a plus. So there's your first round. Spyderco loses on the first round, which is deployment method. So next we're going to talk about construction and materials. And as far as construction, these knives are really similar. If you look at how they're assembled, so we really don't need to talk, except this one has steel liners and this one does not. It's just G10. So as far as construction, like I said, it's just body screws and a pivot. They're constructed pretty much the same, as you can see. Now, the only thing that would be different in the construction standard is this knife has left and right carry. It's ambidextrous. Spyderco has got left, right, up, down on both sides. So you've got multiple points to carry. Now let's talk about materials. This is done in FRN, which is fiberglass reinforced nylon. It has their multi-directional, bidirectional patterning that they do that gives you your grip in all directions. This is done in VG10 steel, and it's got a very broad, large scalloped out serration pattern, S-shaped blade. Both knives are the same kind of blade pattern. This one, however, is done in G10 and S35VN with a single point lock, or pocket clip, like I said. There is no liner in this, and this is very aggressive. Now, Now let's go ahead and talk about the points I want to make. I'm not a fan of the very textured, really textured G10. I find FRN to be a little bit more comfortable, and I find it to be a little bit better material. It holds up a little bit better. These have a tendency to be a little bit more aggressive. I definitely like VG10 steel a lot more. So if I had to pick a knife based on materials and construction, as far as construction, the win has to go to Spyderco. Even though I'm not a fan of it, there are a lot of people that like to carry their knives tip down, and which means that you can carry this. Spyderco's done this for years. They offer that option. S35VN is a good steel. I like VG10 a little bit better. I always have. It's just a steel I've always liked. I like the edge it takes and things like that. And then the final thing on construction, I don't like these tighter serrations as much. I really don't like them. This has got a lot of cutting potential, cutting capability. I've done it. I've proved it in a long time. And then on final construction, it's a tie with the balance. I forgot to mention that. So as far as construction and materials, Spyderco takes the win on this one. So let's go ahead and bring up the next thing, which is going to be lock mechanism. So lock mechanism on these knives are really similar. This is a triad lock, and people are like, no, it's not. It's completely different. Spyderco uses a simple lockback mechanism, which is a good lock. It is a very old style lock. And Cold Steel uses the triad lock, which is the kind of the best possible version of a lockback. This has a little bit of a difference. So the locks on these, while they're really similar, this is a much more robust lock. This is probably the strongest knife lock on the market. Now, I will say that this lock's a little bit easier to disengage than the triad lock for a lot of people, because the triad lock lifts really high. But the thing is, these knives really start to wear out. You start to get some lock rock on these really easily because these two pieces slam together. Every time you open this knife, those two pieces of steel snap together, and the key has to drop right down in the hole. And as you're putting pressure on it, you're deforming all the steel when it marries up. The best thing about this knife, about this lock on a triad lock, is that pin that is in here that this one doesn't have takes up that space. So when you see these pieces come together, they're not actually touching each other. The lock mechanism, the lock key, is in really deep. And the thing about a triad lock is, over time, a triad lock will absolutely get stronger as it goes. So we don't have to talk about this a lot. Triad lock is one of my favorite locks on the market. It is absolutely hands down a killer. It makes a knife almost a fixed blade. So there you go. That is the winner right here. So if we had to look at it, it's going to be Cold Steel for the win on the lock mechanism. You just cannot beat a triad lock. So let's move on to the next criteria, which is ease of carry. And so these knives are very similar. This is a much smaller knife. The Spyderco is smaller. And I have to say that of these two, I'm gonna have to say why I like this better, and this is a very quick segment. The Spyderco is gonna win because ease of carry, this in and out of pocket, is just so much easier. It really is. And then, like I said, with the multiple points of carry, ease of carry, I carry this one left-handed. That's great. If I wanted to carry it left-handed tip down, I absolutely could. I can't do that with this one. The other ease of carry I'm gonna point out is the G10 on this is so aggressive, and the pocket clip on this is so stiff that it does make it hard to get it in and out of pocket, which can interfere with deployment. Even though this has a better deployment method, this causes some problems. So as far as ease of carry, this is not going to win it. Cold Steel or Spyderco has always been Spyderco knives have always been super easy to carry in and out of pocket. Never had an issue with how it carries. Their pocket clips are actually designed way better, in my opinion, for pocket carry. They're just a little bit better, and they're also really comfortable. Not that this is uncomfortable. So on this one, the win goes to Spyderco. So right now, if I've done my tallying correctly, I think we are tied, but there's one last criteria. So let's go ahead and take a look at the last thing we're going to look at, which is feel in hand. And Guys, I've wanted to see one of these for so long. It is really cool. It's got a lot of really cool features, but I got to say Spyderco is going to take it on this one. And it's just simply because their handles are much more contoured. The way it sits in my hand, I'm addressing the cut. I mentioned this in the video I filmed earlier today. This knife just wants to roll out of the cut. The pocket clip is much more uncomfortable. It's not that this is uncomfortable, but it's much more uncomfortable than this one is, especially if I'm carrying it left-handed. It just is perfect. And when you do have this reversed the other way, see how your fingers go in this? Your fingers just naturally drop into the curvatures of this, and it adds to the comfort of the knife, especially if you've got it left-handed. Look at that. It just turns into another secure spot for your finger. As far as other things for feel in hand, while this is grippy, it is really grippy, and like I said, tears up pockets. I don't feel that I have as secure a grip on that knife as I do with this one. This Spyderco patterning on their FRN handles is just about hands down one of the best patterns for really getting traction, but not being uncomfortable. When they came up with this is awesome. Other companies have tried to copy it. This is just about the gold standard for a textured handle, in my opinion. If you want to add grip to a handle, but not have it be uncomfortable. This has grip, but I just feel as though if my hands were wet or if my hands were oily, this would slip a lot easier than this. And I got news for you. If you're carrying this as a self-defense tool, there's a chance you're going to have something on your hands that's going to be slippery. So overall, hands down for the feel in hand, it comes down to Spyderco. Now, let's go ahead, we'll do the thing. You know, Tyler gave me these, may as well use them. And it's a win on this one for the Spyderco. So let's go to the final judging. So in the 5 criterias that I picked out, which is kind of how I look at knives, Spyderco took a 3-2 win. Now, that says a lot. This is a very good knife. You can't go wrong with either of these. Either one of these would be a great addition to your loadout for self-defense if that's what you're looking for. I just personally think the Matriarch 2 would win. And if you put this, there is a larger version of this knife, which is the Civilian, which is much more similarly sized to this knife. If you were to put this against the Civilian, the other Spyderco, I still think this one would win, mainly because of size. One of the big things about this is a much larger knife. I find this being smaller is just a little bit better for me, but can't go wrong with this. I'll have links to both these knives down below in the description if you want to buy them and check them out. No knock against Cold Steel. Great knife. I'm enjoying having it here. There's going to be a final review of this knife. So go ahead and do this. This was the final result, but it was a close battle. So let's turn this around, do some final thoughts, and send you out about your day.
There you go, guys. I have to say, the Matriarch 2 by Spyderco for a self-defense tool is pretty hard to beat. And it was kind of a loaded thing, especially throwing in feel in hand, because you guys do know I love the Endura series. But that's one of the things you have to think of. Like, you're going to shy away from training with something, and that's what you got to do with a self-defense tool. You got to train with it. If it's not comfortable in hand, you're going to shy away from training with it. So that being said, that's pretty much it on this one, guys. Don't forget to go check out Machine Code. There will be a link below if you want to get one of these Halloween-themed decision maker dominoes for yourself. You should. They're a lot of fun. I love this thing. Big shout out to Ty. I'm just helping build up his business. If you want to support my business, which is this channel, there's a lot of links down below. I know I threw in an affiliate link somewhere. If not, you guys know Coffee Brand Coffee, Tempered Trails. They are channel sponsors. You can find their links down below. Doll Strong Knives, also a channel sponsor. You can find all their links. Coffee Brand Coffee, Tempered Trail have a discount built into their link, but you can also use coupon code CrazySharp, all one word. You can also use that coupon code over at FirearmForgeKnifeWorks.com and Rosecraft Blades. I have an Amazon store down below. Take that, pin it to your browser, use it for all your Amazon shopping. I also have got affiliate links with pretty much every one of the big knife vendors. Blade HQ, Knife Ship Free, GP Knives, Artisan Cutlery, Civivi, Vosteed, all those companies down there. There's a list of knives down, other companies down there that aren't necessarily knife related. I have got a membership down below. Take a look at what I offer, bunch of different benefits. It's tier-based, but there is a private Discord. I do giveaways for the baseline and premium guys. The exclusive sharpening tutorial series is on YouTube for the premium guys. And I also have built a open Discord for everyone that's a channel subscriber, anybody that wants to join. There's a link to that down below as well. Guys, that's it on this one. I love you all. Keep it clean in the comment section. If it's your birthday, happy birthday, and I'll see you in the next video.